Hi everyone, Shabbat Shalom. Since the day oh, since the day I was born, I always knew I would attend the Alexander Muss High School in Israel. Both of my parents attended the school in the early 90s, and their first date was dinner before a local Muss reunion in Atlanta. Their wedding ketubah was even made by the legendary Muss teacher and extraordinaire David Mitchell. But though I always knew I would one day experience that signature Muss magic, my parents made sure to never tell me what exactly my time at Muss would entail. They wanted me to create my own experiences, forging my own path as a proud Jew and Zionist. Growing up in a Jewish day school in Atlanta, I had always been taught how to love Israel. I could sing the Hatikvah word for word, talk about the Shuk in the Dead Sea, proudly wave handmade Israeli flags around my classrooms. It was only, though, during my time at Muss that I truly learned why a love for Israel is so important. During the summer of 2021, shortly after what had then been one of the largest confrontations between Hamas and the IDF, I lived in HaSharon for 6 weeks, studying Jewish and Israeli history while making lifelong friendships under the guidance of my teacher and mentor, Reuven Spiro. There's something so special about learning in a classroom and then standing at that very site the next day. A Muss education allows students in history to interact with one another in a way that truly takes history off of the textbook pages and into the hearts of its students. Whereas my Jewish day school taught Jewish history in order of the holidays throughout the school year, Muss's curriculum chronologically covers 4,000 years of history, beginning with Adam and Eve in Genesis and ending with the current events page of the Times of Israel. Muss showed me so much more of Israel beyond the modern state. Muss showed me the history of the people of Israel and our intrinsic connection to the land of Israel. After Muss, I see my connection to Israel as something spanning generations, carrying the wishes of our ancient fathers and mothers into modernity. Israel is our ancestral homeland, and our right to self-determinate in this land does not originate from legislation passed in the last century, but from a generational, tangible relationship to the Eretz. But upon returning home to Atlanta in August of 2021, I found myself struggling. Something had changed inside of me. Muss had shown me my love for Israel and Jewish history, and I was left desperately searching for another outlet to continue my new passions. So, in October of my junior year, just 2 months after returning home from my magical Muss summer, I transferred to a local Jewish community high school. My final 3 semesters of high school were filled with the same academics I desired, but also a renewed passion for Israeli advocacy and Jewish studies. I was lucky enough to become involved with JNF around this time, serving first as an HSI ambassador, then on the board of trustees in Atlanta, and even chairing the high school summit at the Boston conference 2 years ago. So, where does that leave me today? I'm now a sophomore at the University of Texas at Austin in the Plan 2 Honors Program, pursuing a second major in HDO and minors in both Hebrew and philosophy, politics, and economics. I never thought I would end up at a large public university like UT, but after attending Muss, I realized that I could not compromise my access to a large Jewish pro-Israel community for a more renowned degree. In the months after October 7th, I founded Longhorn Students for Israel, UT's only student-led pro-Israel student organization. This upcoming March, I'm chairing Texas Hillel's Israel Block Party, which is the largest pro-Israel event on any college campus in North America, and I recently began writing for my own blog at the Times of Israel. But I would be remiss if I didn't touch on the last few weeks of my freshman year, as my peers and their comrades attempted to incite violence and unrest with their encampments on campus. And listen closely, because this is where Muss comes back in. Standing on the front lines of these encampments is a terrifying thing, and I applaud each and every one of our college students here today who witnessed these violent attempts. It becomes even scarier when you're being shoved and jostled around, being yelled at and called phrases like dirty Zionist. Through these difficult days, it was my Muss education, though, that I could rely on. When we were told to go back to Poland and that we would be the next ones in the ovens, I could remember our tiyul to Yad Vashem and our madricha tearfully recounting her grandparents' escape from Nazi Europe when handmade posters calling Zev Jabotinsky a fascist were hung around campus. I could remember the skits we performed in our Moadon to showcase the different forms of 20th century Zionism, all of which hoped for a better future for the Jewish people in the land they had been exiled from. So many of our enemies, anti-Zionists, anti-Semites, freedom fighters, whatever they call themselves, self-popularize by exposing what they call Israel's lies. But Alexander Muss High School in Israel preemptively thwarts this by teaching the entire history of the land and the state. After my summer at Muss, there is not a single lie about Israel that I cannot immediately confront and dispel with facts, historical record, and personal sentiment. Israel is not just a modern state. Israel is our people, our land, our state, our heritage. Our nationality and culture are derived from this special place, and Zionism is a core tenet of what it means to be Jewish. My time at AMHSI in Israel upended the way I view my place in Jewish history, repositioning myself as the newest link in a generations-long chain that carries the hopes of our ancestors into modernity. Thank you. Muss completely changed the trajectory of my high school and now college experiences, and for that, I am forever grateful. By showing how Israel is our ancestral homeland, the promised land of milk and honey, our 2,000-year-old Hatikva, Muss's experiential curriculum reaffirms why a love for Israel and Zionism is so important to our children, even in the darkest days of violence. Though the state and land of Israel is under attack, the people and spirit of Israel have never had a time to be stronger. Am Yisrael Chai, then, now, and forever.